The United States continues to attract a diverse group of students from all over the world, with many coming from Africa. Located in the western part of the United States is the University of Wyoming, which is established in 1886. This university is a home to students from all around the globe. However, African international students make up only 4.6% of the university's population. I sit down with 3 students from Kenya and Ghana who share their experiences on how they've navigated both cultural and academic cultures in the University of Wyoming. They share their experiences. Before the sit down with the 3 students currently in the United States, I think it's important for us to understand why the United States continues to be an attraction for foreign students, both from Africa and all over the globe. Uganda, like many countries, continues to have a significant number of students pursue their higher education in the US. To explore the reasons behind this trend, we decided to visit the American Center, a resource for students interested in studying in the US, where we interviewed 3 students. Brandon, who is planning to apply for his master's, and Laura and Joel, who plan to apply for their undergraduate studies in the United States.
My name is Tuomo Brandon. Currently, I do work at the American Center, and I work as the Education USA Advisor. So basically my role is to give guidance to prospective international students from Uganda, and in this guidance, I always make sure that I give them the most current, accurate, and comprehensive information that they need to pursue their higher education in the United States of America. The United States, first and foremost, I see it as one of the most diversified countries in the world. It has a population of over 350 million people, but they're from different backgrounds. And I think that is one element I'm really excited about, how diversified it is. And then when I also look at their research, their research facilities, because personally I'm looking at pursuing a graduate degree in chemical and process engineering. So I'm really inspired by their laboratories, their groundbreaking research that they're always doing in the field. So it's something I'm looking forward to.
Among the students we met was Laura, a high school graduate with aspirations of studying in the United States. She shares excitement and expectations about what lies ahead. Joel, another high school student, expressed his dreams of studying in the US.
My name is Laura Kezamwe. I'm a senior sex workist from Uganda, and I'm awaiting my USCE results as I applied for universities in the US.
I prefer to study in the US more than any other country because the US is a very diverse community that offers people from all around the world the opportunities and facilities to achieve their goals, and that is something I'm looking at for my further education, so that is why. Some of the things I expect from studying in the US are to be in a community with people from all around the world, being able to interact with them, make friendships and connections that last a lifetime. I also expect to enrich my academic career and my career at large by utilizing the facilities and the opportunities offered to me in the US. I have always known the US as a place with very many opportunities for people like me, opportunity-oriented people like me. So that is one of the reasons why I've chosen the US in specific, because it is new.
Why I'm particularly interested in studying in the US, because it has one of the highly top-ranked universities. Yes, although other countries also have very good education systems, but the US is one of the best. Yes, and it also has very good research opportunities. And I'm sure getting a degree from the US is, I would say, it's an achievement. Yes.
Now let's hear from students currently at the University of Wyoming.
My name is Rema Boabe. I am from Ghana, and I'm pursuing a Master of Art degree in communication here at the University of Wyoming. Going to the US is predominantly influenced by the fact that I wanted to pursue communication and journalism, And when I looked up on the schools that, I have the opportunity or admission to go in school, Wyoming was preferred for me because of the type of GA-ship that I had, that I believe that will give me a real experience of what my career path is. So kind of the degree I'm pursuing, the GA-ship I'm taking, they align with my career path. I think back in my home country, Ghana, education and classroom experience is quite different from what I experienced in the US when I first got here. In Ghana, it's mostly about the professor coming in and giving a lecture, and afterwards, in case you have a question, you ask, and the lecture is done. But when I came to the US, I felt like what we have here is more of a student-centered learning. So you come to the class, you have already been given the slides, you are supposed and required to read them. So you come to class to discuss them, and you have the opportunity to also ask and also answer questions. So I feel like those were two different backgrounds that I have and coming to experience that. In beginning, at first, I was quite slow, but with time, I felt like I was not only able to fit in, but also able to let my voice to be heard in the classroom.
My name is Cindy Benedict, aka I'm pursuing a master's in communication here at the University of Wyoming. Okay, so I came here in August, I believe that was the 21st of August, and I chose the US because it's the US, and I just felt like I have literally no experience traveling abroad, so why not the US? There was no specific reason, because I applied to a lot of schools, and it was not just in the US, so I can't really say that there's a particular reason why I chose the US. The differences between the education system in Ghana and here, I would say, is independence. Over here, lecturers literally leave more of the work to you to do, but back in Ghana, you're literally given everything you need to do. A lecturer can come into class and give you all the notes, and you have to write it and everything. So even before I get to class, I don't really need to do much preparation. But here, I need to literally do more of the work on my own and come into class just to kind of get explanation of whatever I do not understand from the lecture. So I think one thing is the independence, that the students are independent even in their learning. They need to get information by themselves, and the professors or lecturers do not just feed them information. The second thing I would say probably is just what am I looking for? That connection between students. So back in Ghana, what I'm trying to say is that back in Ghana, when you have, maybe it might have to do with the fact that I'm a foreigner here, but back in Ghana, when you are actually in class, the class has this kind of unity, right? So there's a unity between all the students. You can have conversations about different courses, different stuff that are happening on campus, and then there's that unity. But here, maybe it's because, again, I'm a foreigner in this place, but there's that individuality, right? You're done with lectures, everybody just leaves the class, but it's not like that.
My name is Paul Mchigati. I'm currently pursuing a master's degree in communication. Well, the classroom experience is pretty much different, but in a good way. I would say that there are more resources, in the classroom compared to my country back home. So I feel like in terms of, getting my hands on activities that I'm supposed to do for my coursework, it's pretty much easier compared to back home in Kenya. I would say that the professors in the United States, specifically at the University of Wyoming, they are open and very much welcoming. So it's easier for you to approach them when you have a problem or you need, extra assistance or explanation in terms of coursework and everything. So I think that's in terms of approach, that would be the biggest difference compared to my lecturers or professors back at home. Yeah. Of course, I do miss, my home country, my people, my family especially. So sometimes it gets lonely. But again, for me, I think it's a little bit better because I have family, in Colorado, which is pretty much closer to Wyoming. So yeah, that makes it, a little bit easier for me too. Yes, I have a couple of friends actually, but most of them are international students like me from countries like Ghana, Uganda, Kenya, and Nigeria. When it comes to domestic students, I wouldn't say like the relationship is like friendship based. It's more of like classmates, you only meet up for, school purposes. So when you're done with classes or group assignments or projects, that's pretty much like the end of the relationship. Well, difficulties, one difficulty that I can think of right now maybe it would be like cultural differences. So we are very much, different in terms of where we come from, what we eat, the kind of music that we listen to, even the general exposure of life, how we view life. So that kind of makes it hard for, international students from Africa or, other parts of the country to actually have a good relationship.
Realize about here in the US, which is different from my home country in terms of making new friends, is that back in my home country I can meet a random person on the road and they say hello, then you say hi, and it will turn into a conversation and we exchange numbers and that is it. But here in the US I realize that it's quite different. It feels, I would say, weird to meet someone on the roadside without the person smiling at you or anything and you just want to, get to know the person. It feels very weird to me, and even in where I find myself. So one of the places that I've been able to make friends so far is that I joined a men's soccer club. So we're there because I love soccer, people who come there also love soccer. It's very easy for us to talk. It's very easy for us to get to know each other. So that has been one of the most common places that I've made a lot of good friends. Then I also think that at the gym too, when I go there at Africa to go and work out, that is also a nice place that I'm away from home over a year, and I think I'm in the third month now. Yeah, sometimes I miss family, sometimes I miss talking to my mom or just hearing the sound of my dad, calling my name or something like that. But then again, I think because with the advent of technology, I'm able to talk to my family initially on a weekly basis, but I think more recently we have been talking almost every day. So there's that sense that I miss family, I miss home, but because of technology we are able to have home away from home. But then again, there is no place like home.
Na it is saying, and do I any kasai, but any day. Some of them in my
Racism, it's really hard to tell when you experience it. It comes in like so many subtle ways, so you can't really pinpoint. But when you walk in a room and you're the only African, sometimes you do recognize that people are looking at you. So you do realize that, all right, I'm pretty much the only different, unique person in the room. So I can't really figure out or pinpoint exactly where I experienced racism, but I think I might have experienced it and not realized it, So I try as much as I can not to dwell on, that might be affected or experience any sort of racism. Yeah.
Yet, okay, I'm yet to experience racial discrimination, so I wouldn't say that I have experienced it so far.
My biggest culture shock or surprising, something that I found surprising about the United States culture, I would say food. Food, that's what I was struggling with, to adapt to. Yeah, and then something else that really shook me, I would say the approach to life in general. Where we come from, we are more of like a community-oriented type of people. So in the United States, there is pretty much like individualism. So you have to do, what you gotta do for yourself.
The food. Can I say I hate it? The food is just, it's a no-no. It's so different, like so different. The way the meals are prepared is something I think I almost felt sick at the beginning because everything is sweet here. So I couldn't really enjoy the food.
For the good part of it, the fact that I do have international students from Africa, so they are pretty much like my community when I'm over here. So that makes it easier for me, to feel or to have that sense of belonging, because these are like my people from the same continent, and our cultures, as much as we're from different countries, there is a lot of similarities.
University resources I found helpful. One would be the international students teaching community. I don't think I got the name right, but there's this group on campus that they help international students who probably English is not their first language to improve on it. So that community has helped, because before I came here, I had to watch a lot of videos. Right, I had to watch a lot of videos about how to teach a class, because I'm a graduate teaching assistant as well. So I had to watch a lot of videos on that, and then the library. I really have gotten a lot of help from the library. Meeting with some of the library consultants one-on-one has helped me with my project and thesis and all of that. I think another thing probably would just be the International Students and Scholars Office. They've been really helpful, ISS.
I'll say the International Student Services offices. So they do like have these sessions where you can go and ask, or like office hours, you can pop in and ask a couple of questions as you are trying to figure out your way, around the university. So that resource, the department has been helpful, especially. Yeah.
Some suggestions I think will be good to help or improve programs for international students would probably be just more avenues to meet more international students. There are already things like that, especially with ISS and the help to provide, but it would just be good if there are more events like that, right? And maybe more events to sort of help international students get together with the domestic people here in the United States. I think that would be the only thing.
Well, I think the international student services or offices could do better in terms of orientation, in the sense that they could provide more than just documentation, like instead of like written emails or maps on how to find your way around school, they could actually do this process in person with students, take them to different locations around the school. I also think that they could have multiple orientation sessions instead of like just one orientation session. After people or students report for school, they could have, at least 3 in a month's time, when after people have, students have registered or have arrived at school. So I think that would make it easier for people to continue to adapt to the new environment.
With the stories and experiences we've heard from all the participants, one thing is clear: the power of community, the power to adapt and find a new community in a new environment. A lot has been done by the university to ensure that the experiences of African international students continue to improve and progress. This documentary is therefore a dedication to every African international student in the University of Wyoming especially, but also in the United States, to always remember that your voice matters and continue putting yourself out there. Continue to try and form a community wherever you are. Always remember that you belong here and your voice is valid.